Driving by the old home place after entering town brings several wonderful thoughts to your mind. You were almost giddy as you passed by as you remembered the wonderful events you played in the yard with your sibling and neighbors. Whether it was dancing to the stars late at night with your girlfriends or joining in the boys' football games. Yes, even as a girl, you played because you were the fastest halfback in the entire neighborhood. Then there was the skating on the long concrete sidewalk. You'd go back and forth singing your songs and not stopping until late evening when Mom made you come inside. But today's drive was different. Your initial stop was not at the home place. Instead, you were headed to the nursing home to see Mom. Your brother had called yesterday and said you needed to come home because Mom's demeanor was changing quickly. He wanted to know if we should put the home place up for sale quickly since market prices were good and Mom didn't seem to care. So, you booked an early flight for today's visit and rented a car to make your way to Mom's new residence. This issue about downsizing your mom turned into a family disaster about a year ago. Your mom and your brother have been going at it since. Your brother says your mom cannot keep up the place to par, so you hired a landscaping to take care of the yard at your expense. Then it was the inside of the house being a total mess. So you hired an individual to stop by 3 times a week to assist your mom with cleaning, taking Mom to the grocery, and other such chores, again, at your expense. However, a few weeks ago, Mom's demeanor had changed according to your brother. Your brother had previously reserved a room in the local nursing home for when Mom might be needed. As her demeanor changed, she moved to the nursing home. Thus, your visit for today to check on your mom and brother. On arriving at the nursing home, your brother was waiting for you outside. He tells you Mom has lost her drive, her vigor for life, and he doesn't understand her sudden change. He reiterated that he had to put Mom in the nursing home quickly because luckily they had an opening and other families wanted the spot. You enter the building and speak with the head nurse on duty, asking of Mom's condition and if Mom is needing any additional medical care. The head nurse smiled and said, "She is medically okay and comfortable." Your brother overheard the conversation and you walk with him toward Mom's room. He tells you he is livid over how these medical people speak so nonchalantly about Mom's condition. He doesn't understand because something is seriously wrong with Mom, and they don't get it. You tell your brother to give you a few minutes alone with Mom, so you can individually assess what seems to be wrong. On entering the room, Mom turns her eyes toward you. There is no thrill in them, only peace as you feel she notices you. You say, "Hello, Mom," and give her a hug. She ever so gently hugs you back and says, "Hello, my daughter," as if I had been spending time with her daily all along. You look around the room and see she received the flowers you sent. You commented on how lovely they looked, and Mom said, "Thank you," again with no emotion whatsoever. You asked Mom if she's in pain. She said no, as she closed her eyes as if she was meditating for several minutes. You first thought was like your brother's on why Mom was acting this way towards you. It's as if she doesn't care. Particularly after you dropped everything and made a special trip to come see her right away. But then your training with a stoicist came to mind. You remembered covering the topic of folk letting go when it comes to the one of one's journey on this side of the veil. You realize that despite what the medical community's position may be, Mom was dying, and when she was spending time in her mind preparing herself. All that vigor Mom had in life, constantly critiquing us children, always aware of her external surroundings. Hey, in the past she would have gone on and on about how beautiful the flower arrangement was that you sent her. These earthly treasures were all past now. Mom was preparing herself for the next new journey that was at hand. A few tears run down your cheek because money, status, reputation, success, and earthly joy were now gone for Mom. Her peace was now focused internally, with her mind being the only precious item left. So, as you left the room, your brother says to you, "Do you see what I mean? What's wrong with Mom?" You tell your brother that Mom is now preparing for her next journey and will not be with us much longer. And regarding the home place and Mom's belongings, it does not matter anymore, because Mom has already downsized in her mind, and she has passed whatever this earth might have to offer her. Now, using my Stoic storytelling method, my parents are getting old. Should they downsize? Think of the life you have lived until now as over and, as a dead man, see what's left as a bonus and live it according to nature. Marcus Aurelius. Lay not up for yourselves treasure upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Jesus. I will leave the decision of downsizing up to my parents. I realize we must all prepare at some time for our death. However, for some, it may be mere minutes away from their last breath. The character trait I improved was being respectful of how another wants to leave this earth. Thank you for sharing your mind with me. For your continued success, hear my secret. As their journey ends on this earth, step aside and be humble as they prepare for their rebirth. Now relax, control your mind, and be as you wish to seem, empowered. Remember, it's the situation keeping my connection with Him. I'm Lori Stiff, the Stoicist, and I believe in you. If you like what you mentally now see, join my website to learn and think like me at stoicmatchmaker.com.